Hello everyone. Yeah, so we are in the middle of this course we have started. So this is the lecture number 4 in module 2. So you can see this is the profile and this uh, initiative, right? Let's crack the gate by all the faculties, TQ faculties across the country. So this is my profile. Okay, we'll start. Go on with the lecture. So if you do remember, like in the previous class, we have defined basic parameters related to the soil, right? Like water content, what is void ratio, what is porosity and all, and the unit weight also. And we have defined already the unit weights and different kinds of unit weights under different conditions like saturated condition, dry condition and all. I will see how this unit weight is determined, how we measure for the soil, right? So you have two kinds of methods here. So for the determination of unit weight, you have two kinds of methods. So some we do in the field, so which are called in situ methods. In situ unit weight. In situ means it's in the field. You know. Uh, so if you determine the unit weight in the field, so this is what we call in situ unit weight. In field. So wherever you are going to construct the structure, so there itself you find out this unit weight. We have two methods for it, core cutter and sand replacement method. And the laboratory methods, you have only one, which is water displacement method. We'll see these methods. So so this is the first method, which is core cutter method, right? So you can see this is the core cutter. So this is the core cutter. It has a dolly on top of, we can place it on top of it, and you have a rammer, right? So this unit core cutter is used to measure the unit weight. So how we do? So this is the ground where you want to find out the unit weight. So before you do anything, you just make the surface of the ground plane, so you scratch some soil and you make it a plane, and then you find out the weight of the core cutter, empty weight of this core cutter. So let's say that weight of the core cutter is W1. This is W1, empty weight of core cutter. And then what you do, you keep your core cutter on ground and you place dolly on top of it, and then you place a rammer. Then you keep on hitting that core cutter. So this will be goes down into the soil, and once it completely gets into that soil, then you remove the soil from the sides, this sides, and then you carefully remove this core cutter along with the soil. So this core cutter will have soil inside now, right? So this is the hole left with. So you remove the soil is now inside the core cutter. Now you measure the weight of this core cutter again, which is W2. So W2 is greater than W1. So the weight that goes inside the core cutter is W2 minus W1. We want unit weight, right? So the unit weight is weight of soil by volume. So we know the volume of the soil. This is inside volume of your core cutter itself, right? So you know the diameter of the core cutter, you know the height of core cutter, right? So you know the volume of core cutter, which is 5 by 4 d square area into height, right? So this is the volume of core cutter. So if you divide this with volume of core cutter, you will get unit weight, right? But this is a bulk unit weight, you know. So although the soil is in same condition here, uh, yeah, soil is in same condition here. The thing is, season to season, the water content changes, So the measuring bulk unit weight doesn't give much of your confidence, how the soil is present and all. So we want to check the soil condition. So the soil condition, whether the soil particles are closely closely spaced or they are at a larger space. This yeah. So if they are closely spaced, then your gamma will be more. If they are largely spaced, then the gamma will be lesser. For this case, the gamma will be lesser, right? But the thing is, this gamma, which gamma we take? So this spacing, according to spacing, the gamma dry, we always try to find out the gamma dry, because this doesn't depend on the water amount, right? Because it's a dry unit weight, it depends on voids, so it doesn't depend on water weight. Because the thing is, if rainy season the water will be more, if in dry season the water will be lesser, so bulk varies, gamma bulk varies, but not gamma dry. So that's why we try to find out the gamma dry. So gamma dry is equals to, we already gave an expression yesterday for gamma dry. This is gamma bulk by 1 plus W. So you find out the water content of soil. How? Now you have a soil inside this core cutter, right? So you take small piece of soil, small part of soil, and you use that soil for water content measurement. You keep it in oven, you dry it, and you find out the dry weight, and initially you find out, yeah. So the process of measuring water content. So you find out the water content, so that water content measurement will give you gamma. So this you report as your result of this core cutter, gamma ray. Fine. So this is how we do core cutter method. But here the thing is, this core cutter method is not suitable for sandy and gravel soils. This is good for clay soils, but not suitable for sandy and gravel soils. The reason is because the sand and gravels doesn't have any cohesion. So while you are collecting the soil sample, while you are lifting this core cutter up, the soil inside this core cutter will be falling down again. Like the collection process, retrieving process will be difficult. That is why you don't use core cutter for sands and gravels. It will be good for clay soils, but for sands and gravels we have another method which is called sand replacement method. So the sand replacement method, you replace the sand. How? So you can see the figure here. This is a tray. So what you do is you place the tray, and this tray will have some central hole. So you can see this hole. So through this hole, you excavate some soil. You dig a hole through that central open space till 15 centimeter, and you collect the soil inside this tray itself. You remove the soil from the central hole and you keep it, that soil on the sides. So this tray will fill with the soil which you have excavated, and you find out the weight of that soil, right? So you will get the weight of soil, and now you left with some hole inside the ground. Now we want the volume of soil, right? You can't measure the volume of soil which you have excavated because it was disintegrated. Like it is loose now. So you cannot you find out the volume. So you can find out the volume of soil by measuring volume of hole. So you can find out the volume of soil by measuring volume of hole. So this is, let's say this is the ground. So you keep a tray and then you make a hole here, right? So this soil excavator will be placed inside this tray. Now you remove the tray, so you left with hole. Now this hole is replaced with the sand. The soil removed in the hole is replaced with the sand. So this sand will fill this hole. Now you measure the amount of sand, weight of sand that goes into this hole. So once you know the weight of sand that goes into the hole, you can find out the volume of the sand, because we already know that unit weight of sand. Unit weight of sand is known to us. You do some calibration also. I'm not going into the complete test details. So the gamma sand. This is known sand to you, right? So if you divide the weight with the unit weight of sand, then you will get the volume. So this volume of hole. Now you can find out unit weight as weight of the soil excavated by volume of the sand that goes in. So this is bulk, same. So we are interested in dry unit weight. So this dry unit weight can be found by gamma bulk by 1 plus W. Right. So this is the sand replacement method. Right. Yeah. The one more method we have. So these two, the previous two methods are field methods. So you are finding out the unit weight in the field. But if you have a soil sample, through some sampling process, you have soil sample in your laboratory. How do you find out the unit weight of that soil? So what you do is, this is the soil. So you can measure the weight easily, right? So if you have a soil, you can measure the weight easily. Let's say the soil weight is W1. So this is the soil having weight W1, right? You measure the weight of the soil, and then what you do is you cover the soil with the wax. So this is the wax. So the soil is covered with the wax, right? So after covering with the wax, then you find out the weight, which is W2. So the W2 minus W1 is your weight of wax. So this wax we are covering, we know the unit weight of that wax already. Unit weight of wax is, let's say, gamma wax, right? Now what you do is, I know the soil weight, which is W1. I know the soil weight, which is W1. To find out the unit weight of soil, I need this volume of this soil. So I need this volume of the soil. So this volume of the soil is required. So how do we find out? So you do use water displacement method, the Archimedes principle. What you do is, you dip this whole thing in the soil. So you keep this whole part in the soil. So, I mean, not soil, in the water. So this is the water, right? So you know how much volume that is increased. Let's say the volume is somewhere here initially, right? Water will be somewhere here. Now after you keep this yeah, the soil part along with the wax, then the water level rises to somewhere here. So you'll measure this rise, and you know the cross sectional area. So you can find out the volume change by cross sectional area into this side. So this is the volume change, right? So the volume change will be cross sectional area into height. But this volume change is combined volume of your soil and wax, right? So this volume that we are getting is volume of soil plus volume of wax. Now we want to find out the volume of soil. We are interested to know only the volume of soil. Wax is a secondary material that we are using just to cover the soil. Why do we have to cover? Because you can't keep the soil inside the water, because the water gets into the soil. So the water content of soil changes, which we don't want, right? You want the water content, natural water content existing in the soil as it is. You don't want additional water to enter into the soil. That's why you are covering with the wax, right? Okay. So this is volume of total volume, which is volume of soil plus volume of wax. But we can calculate volume of wax, so which is weight of wax by unit weight of wax. Weight of wax is what? How much? This is weight of wax by unit weight of wax. This will give you volume of wax. Now I want volume of soil. So this I can get by V minus volume of wax. So this is V minus W2 minus W1 by gamma wax. So once I know the volume of soil, then I can find out unit weight of soil as volume, weight of soil by volume of soil. So this is W by V minus sorry, this is W1, V minus W2 minus W1 by gamma vax, right? So this is, you find out unit weight in this way. So once you know this unit weight, so this is again bulk unit weight. If you are interested to find know the dry unit weight, you find out the water content, and then from the water content and bulk unit weight, you will again find out the dry unit weight as gamma bulk by 1 plus W. Fine. So this is how you measure unit weight in the laboratory. If your soil is in your hand, yeah. Okay. So these are the unit methods of determination of unit weight. So the unit weight, whenever I talk about unit weight, it's like kind of similar to your density, So don't confuse between these two terms. So the thing is, so far I'm considering only the weights, right? So weights in newtons. So if you consider it in weights, then that will be related to unit weight. Now instead of weights, if you replace this weights with the mass, so okay, if you replace the weights with the mass by volume, then this will give you the density, right? So the same way how you have all the unit weights such as gamma dry, gamma sat, gamma submerged. So similarly you have uh, rho dry density, dry saturated density, and the same way submerged density. And even the expressions are same, So I can write the gamma dry as G, sorry, 0W by, this is dry unit weight, 0W by 1 plus E. Similarly, so earlier what we had, gamma dry. So the unit weight, dry unit weight will be G times gamma of water by 1 plus E. But here gammas are replaced with the rho. Both are same. The thing is, the unit weight is actually weight, right? So this is mass times acceleration due to gravity. Weight means, weight means mass times acceleration due to gravity. So if you so unit weight is W by volume. So if you write down W as mg, so this is m by v is your density, and so yeah, so you are getting unit weight as density times g. So both are same, one and same. Only the acceleration due to gravity you have to multiply for the density. I mean to get unit weight. Fine. Okay. So far we have seen basic parameters. Now this is the fun part. So we'll do some numericals. So this will be, yeah. So if you want a better score, you have to do as much practice of numericals as possible. And one more thing is, like, while I'm doing the numericals, I'll give you how to break the question and how the question has to be processed. So if you get some I mean so you try to note down some things, like I'm not writing in the things that process in my mind while I'm doing the questions. So if you note down some things, then that will be better, so take a pen and note down. Okay, let's see the question now. So this is a partially saturated soil sample, has a natural moisture content, so 25%. So moisture content means water content was given to us. So the water content was given, so 25%, right? And what he says again, and the bulk unit weight of 18.5. So bulk unit weight is given, so which is 18.5 kilonewton per meter cube, and the specific gravity of soil solids is given. So G was given, which is 2.65, and the unit weight of water is 9.81. So this is known to us, right? So the unit weight of water is 9.81, and sometimes you take it as 10, you know, but if you specify some value, you can't take it as 10, you know. So if you specify some value, you can't take it as 10, but if it doesn't specify, for the simplification purpose, you may take 10, right? It depends, but nothing specifies, then you have to take this 9.81 only. Sometimes he may specify 10, so in that case you have to take unit weight of water as 10. Fine. So this is the data. The unit weight of soil sample on full saturation is, so he's asking the question now. So his question is, what is saturated unit weight? See, from now on, so we'll take a oath, right? Whenever we read the question, you read the last part of the question again, at least twice, you know. Okay, we'll read the question one, because you don't want to make wrongs, right? So you have to look for the units in which it is asked and what is the actual thing that is asked. Okay, we'll read the question again. So the unit weight of soil sample on full saturation is, so full saturation, unit weight on full saturation, that means gamma sat is asked. Okay, clear? How do we find out gamma sat? I guess we have derived an expression for gamma sat, right? So you're supposed to remember, it's not a big deal, you know? So if you try to solve more questions, then this automatically will be in your head, stick in your head. This is the expression for gamma sat, you know. So gamma sat, unit weight of saturated soil, is G plus E by 1 plus E times gamma W. This is required. Now what I have, so gamma W I have, which is 9.81, G I have 2.65, but this E I don't have. It was not given, right? So instead of E, he gave these two values. How can we find out E from these two? So gamma bulk is given, W is given. So we have a relation for gamma bulk and W, right? So that is, you can find out the gamma dry. So you can find out the gamma dry. Which is gamma by 1 plus W. You may think of this also, right? You know the bulk unit weight. So your expression for bulk unit weight is what? So gamma bulk is G plus SC by 1 plus E times gamma W. Now here the degree of saturation is also unknown. So we think of that, we know the bulk weight, so we can find out E from this expression. But there is one more unknown happening here, which is S, right? So this S we can't find out straight away from this expression. So you can find out the gamma dry, or else using this W and G, using this W and G, you can combinedly find out SE, right? Because the WG is actually equals to SE. So you will get SE as WG. So you can substitute that value here and you can find out E from this expression, right? So you can do this way also, or else if you don't want to go this way, you can find out the dry unit weight, so which is gamma by 1 plus W. So this is equals to how much? 18.5 is the unit weight, and 1 plus water content is 25%, that means 0.25. So calculate it. So okay, you do one thing, pause the video, try to solve it by yourself, and then come back to the lecture, right? So you will practice along with me, that will be better. Yeah, so we got this dry unit weight as 14.8 kilonewton per meter cube. Fine. Now I have my dry unit weight. So gamma dry is what? G gamma W by 1 plus E. So I know the value of G, so which is okay, 2.65. So my G is 2.65. 1 plus E I don't have, that is what I need, and gamma W is 9.81. Gamma dry value I've got right now, right, which is 14.8. Is it 14.8? Let me just confirm. Yeah, 14.8. So your 1 plus E will be 2.65 into 9.81 by 14.8. So this is coming around how much? So this is 1.756. So this implies 1 plus E is this much, so E will be 0.756. So now you have got your E, so you can find out the unit saturated unit weight, so which is G plus E by 1 plus E times unit weight of water. So G is 2.65 plus E is 0.756 by 1 plus 0.756 into gamma W, which is 9.81. So this comes around 19.027. Right, we'll look into the answers. Yeah, this is the answer. Fine. Yeah, so the thing is, you first look into what is required, and then you look into what is given, then you think of how you get this from these values. So you do have this, so that something is unknown, so can I get unknown from this values, then you look back and you relate this E with the other terms, then you saw how most of the problem is solved, you know. So you look what is required and then see what is given. Yeah, we'll see the next question. So here is the next question. So void ratio and specific gravity of a soil are 0.65 and 2.72. So void ratio 0.65 and what else? Specific gravity G is given, which is 2.72. So the degree of saturation corresponding to water content of 20%. So water content is given, which is 20%. So what is S? We have a straight relation here, right? So WG by E is equals to S. So WG equals to ES. So we want saturation, so which is WG by E. You just have to substitute all the parameters in here, nothing else. This is not a fancy question, it's a simple. So 0.2, G is 2.72, E is 0.65. So this is 0.8369, but it is asked in percentage, right? So you look these things in the bracket, you know, sometimes it might be asked to round off, sometimes for 1 decimal, 2 decimals, you have to carefully look the question. That's what we are discussing. Read the question again. Degree of saturation is required, degree of saturation in percent, you know, in percent, not in decimals. So if you convert this into percent, so you just have to multiply with the 100. So this is 83.69, 83.7% closely. So this is the answer. Okay, do one thing. See, you know that this GATE exam, you don't have allowed to carry calculator. It was given the digital calculator, GATE calculator. So you do the GATE calculator, download the GATE calculator. You do practice in that calculator itself from now on. Then you don't have to worry about the things you face at the exam. So all the calculations you do using the GATE calculator itself. Okay, this is the next question. The ratio of saturated unit weight to dry unit weight is 1.25. So what is it? This is ratio of saturated unit weight to dry unit weight is 1.25. So if the specific gravity of solids is 2.65, okay, G is given as 2.65. The void ratio of the soil is, okay, void ratio of soil is, so this is the question. What is E? What is E? So how do we find out? See, you know the expression for gamma sat, which is G plus E by 1 plus E gamma W, and we know the expression for gamma dry, so which is G gamma W by 1 plus E. So now if you divide this by this is 1, then this is 2. So you'll get the gamma sat by gamma dry. So which is, see, this 1 plus E gamma W gets cancelled. So you left with G plus E here and only G here, right? So this ratio is 1.25. So this is E, relation between G and E, right? So we know the G, so can't we find out E? So simple, right? So G plus E is 1.25 times G. So E is, if you send this G to the other side, this will, E is 0.25 times G. So G is known to you. So 0.25 times or 2.65. So how much is it? So okay, this is around 0.6625. So the closest answer is 0.663. Okay, this is one more question. So the water content of saturated soil and the specific gravity of soil solids were found to be 30% and 2.7. So this water content first, so the first value is water content, and then specific gravity of soil solids, no solids, so that is G is 2.7. So let's write down water content is given 30%, G value is given, which is 2.7. Assuming the unit weight of water to be 10. See, we have been telling, so unit weight of water content is generally close to 9.81, but for the simplification purpose, sometimes you may take 10. So here it was mentioned, so that's why you have to use gamma W as 10, not 9.81. The saturated unit weight in kilonewton per meter cube. So he's asking for gamma sat and void ratio of the soiler. So void ratio is also a question mark. E. So he's asking these two parameters. Okay. So how do you work out? Yeah. So you have W, you have G, you have gamma W. So how do we find out gamma sat? This is the question, right? Okay, gamma sat is what? G plus E by 1 plus E times gamma W. Check all the parameters that we have or not. So we have gamma W given 10 and you have G, but you don't have E. So the E is required, you know. E is even required in the question also. So he is asking the void ratio also, right? How do we find out E? Okay, we'll check. Are these parameters are sufficient or not? Right. Okay, water content is given. Can we use this water content to find out E? Okay. Yeah, we missed something, you know. So whenever you find out you don't get the answer straight away, you go back and read the question. So what we missed here, the water content of saturated soil, you know. So this is what it is given, the saturated soil. What does that mean? The degree of saturation is 100%. S is 1. This is the missing thing that we have missed. So now we can find out E. Wg is equals to E times S. So E is equals to Wg by S. So S is 100%. So this is Wg, which is 30%. So that means 0.3. And G is 2.7. So this is around 0.3 into 2.7. So which is equals to 0.81. Right? So you see the answer for E. So where we have 0.81. 0.45, 0.45, 0.3, 0.81. So you have only one value here. So automatically this is the answer. But anyway, we'll check for the saturated unit weight also, right? So the saturated unit weight will be G plus E. So G is 2.7 plus E is 0.81 by 1 plus 0.81 into 10. So this is 19.39. So this is around 19.39. So close to 19.4, right? So yeah. So this is the answer. Okay, we'll see this question now. So then in its natural condition, the soil sample has a mass of 1.98. Okay, this is question was kg. It was written something typing error, so the units were missing here. So 1.98 kg and the volume of 0.001 meter cube. You know, so 0.001 meter cube, the volume of soil. After being completely dried in an oven, the mass of the soil sample is 1.8 kg. And the specific gravity is 2.7. Right? Unit weight of water is 10 kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, 10 kilonewton per meter cube. Unit weight is given. But here the mass is given. You know, unit weight and mass are not related. Don't confuse here. So mass related to density. So you have to convert this unit weight into density. Right? Okay, we'll see that again. So the degree of saturation of the soil is, degree of saturation of the soil is, so it doesn't have any units. You don't have to bother about the units. So the S is being asked. What is S? Degree of saturation. See, the thing is here, you know the weights and you know the volumes. The parameters are not given. So you have to go with the phase diagram. You have to draw the phase diagram. You know, soil, water, air. Right? Okay. So 1.98 kg is the mass of soil sample. So the combined weight is given, which is 1.98 kg. I mean, not weight, this is the mass. Right? So its volume is 0.001. So the total volume is 0.001. Right? And what else is given? It is being completely dried in an oven. So after you keep it in oven, you lose the water. Right? So after you lose the water, the mass of the sample is 1.8. So this, after water is evaporated, you left with only the soil. So this weight is 1.8. Right? So this weight is 1.8. Yeah, what else we have? Unit weight of water is given, which is 10 kilonewton per meter cube. So unit weight, gamma unit weight, gamma of water is 10. kilonewton per meter cube, but we are interested to know the density because it's in the masses. So the density will be gamma w by acceleration due to gravity. Here if you take acceleration due to gravity as 10, right, so then this will be 10 into kilonewton, so 10 cube newton per meter cube by 10 meter per second square. So this will give you gamma w as 1000 kg per meter cube, right? Now how do we process? So the degree of saturation is been asked. Yes, so what is degree of saturation? From basic definitions, this is volume of water to the volume of voids, so this is what your degree of saturation. Can we find out volume of water here? I know the weight of water, so this is 1.98 is the total weight of soil, 1.8 kg is the dry weight, so this difference is how much? Water weight. So the difference is, okay, I'll write here, weight of water is 1.98 minus 1.8, so this is 0.18 kg, right? I know the weight. Can I find out the volume? Yeah, I do, because I know the unit weight of water, so I know the density of water, so I can find out the volume of water. So volume of water is mass of water by density of water, or you can say weight of water by unit weight of water. Either you convert mass into weight or you convert unit weight into density. Either way you can do. So here I have converted unit weight into density, so I'm going to use this first term, right? So this is mass is how much? 0.18 kg, and the density is 1000. So this is equals to 0.18 into 10 to the power of minus 3 units. Units are important. So this is in kg, and 1000 is kg per meter cube. So this is kg and this is kg per meter cube. So this will be in meter cube. 0.18 times 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube. This is the volume of water, right? But I want the volume of voids. I want the volume of voids. How do we find out volume of voids? That is question mark here. So I know the weight of solids, and I know the G value. So I can use this G value here, So the G value is given. So weight of solids is equals to density of solids into volume of solids, right? So the density of solids is nothing but G times unit weight of water, and this is volume of solids, right? So volume of solids is W by G times gamma W. So I don't have the weight of solids, I have the mass of solids, so I can convert this Ws into mass of solid times acceleration due to gravity by G. I can also convert unit weight of water as density of water times acceleration due to gravity, so the G gets cancelled. So basically the thing is W by gamma W is equals to mass by density. This is actually volume. Okay, in place of W by gamma W, you can write down mass by rho g. Yeah, fine. So mass of the solids I know, which is 1.8 kg. G is 2.7, and the density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. So this is the volume of solids. Can we find out? So this is 1.8 divided by 2.7. So this is around 0.67 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube. So this is the volume of solids. this volume is, so total volume is 0.001, so that is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3, and out of which the solids volume is 0.67 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So we can find out the volume of voids, right? So volume of voids is total volume minus solids volume. So the total volume is 0.001, that is 10 to the power of minus 3 minus 0.67 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So this is 0.33 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube, right? So we have got the volume of voids. Denominator is known to us. What is volume of water? So you know the weight of water, so you can find out the volume of water, which is, we have already done it. So volume of water is 0.18 times 10 to the power of minus 3. So you can find out the saturation now, degree of saturation as volume of water by volume of voids. So volume of water we have got 0.18 10 to the power of minus 3 by volume of voids is 0.33 10 to the power of minus 3. How much is it? .18 divided by 0.33. So this is 54.5%. You know, 0.545. So this is 54.5%. Yeah. Okay. So this is a question. So your fill volume has 1,50,000 cubic meter to be excavated at a void ratio of 0.8. The borrow pit soil has a void ratio of 1.4. Is to be constructed. Okay, I did excavated, right? So fill means what you do is, while you're constructing roads, you make an embankment fill, you know. So you place the soil and you compact the soil. So you compact the soil, dense, then your road comes here. So this is what the fill means, you know. Okay, fine. So this fill is 1,50,000 volume to be constructed at a void ratio of 0.8. So this fill is having a volume of 1,50,000 meter cube, and its void ratio is 0.8. Borrow pit soil has a void ratio of 1.4. So borrow pit means you have to lay the soil here, right? So that soil is generally excavated from some other place, you know. So this is what we call borrow pit. So you excavate the soil here, you carry that soil in some vehicles and you transport it to here and you fill it here, right? So this is the borrow pit, and this is what we call fill. Yeah. So volume of the soil required in cubic meters to be excavated from the borrow pit will be, okay, this is an interesting question. So the volume of soil required in cubic meters meter cube to be excavated from borrow pit. So how much volume you need to excavate here? That is what has been asked, right? So here the void ratio is given. So borrow pit soil has a void ratio of 1.4. Here the void ratio is 1.4. Now the thing is, what you are doing, you are excavating the soil here and you are filling the soil in here and compacting. So after you compact, the void ratio is reducing, you know, because we want high density. So you compact, so the void ratio is reducing. So here void ratio is more. So the soil is loose. So the soil is loose. Now after you give some load, then the soil particles will be gets closer and the void ratio will gets lesser, density increases. Yeah, fine. So having said that, see, whatever the void ratio, so what the amount of soil that you are been excavating here, has some soil voids, right? Soil solids. So the same solids will be here also, only you are removing the voids, not the solids. So the solids volume will be same, right? Let's say here the volume in the borrow pit is VB, right? So the solids volume here is Vs, let's say. So the solids volume, okay. Let me draw the phase diagram. So this is the solids volume, and this is the voids volume, combined water and air, right? So this voids volume I can write as E times Vs, because E is actually Vv by Vs, volume of voids to the volume of solid. So this will be, I can write Vv as E times Vs, right? So now the total volume is this Vs plus E times Vs. Vs plus E times Vs. So this is equals to, if you take Vs common, this will be 1 plus E times Vs. So here E is because you are finding out the volume at the borrow pit. So this void ratio also related to the borrow pit. See, Vs is not changing, only the E is changing with the volume, So initially the volume is more because the void ratio is more. Now after you fill it and compact it, the void ratio is reducing, so the volume is also reducing, So here we have the relation now. So Vb is equals to Vs, into 1 plus Eb, and volume in the fill is equals to volume of solids. Volume of solids is same, so the same soil that you have excavated here is filling here, so the solids volume is not changing, right? Times 1 plus E times fill. So Vb by 1 plus Eb is equals to V fill by 1 plus E fill. See, this is the relation generally you use most of the times, So the volume to void ratio relation is this much. Even heights to volume ratio will be also same. H1 by 1 plus E1 equals to H2 by 1 plus E2. Unless you are adding or removing some of the soil from the soil, existing soil, so it will be following in this relation. Heights and volumes, because the solids are not changing. So in the compaction or in the volume changes parameters, this volume by 1 plus C will be generally constant. So this will be useful most of the cases, right? Okay. So now what he's asking how much volume to be volume of soil to be excavated in cubic meters excavated from the borrow pit. So he's asking this volume. We can find out, right? So you have all the parameters. EB, void ratio in the borrow pit is given, which is 1.4, and this fill void ratio is given, which is 0.8, and the fill volume is given, which is 1500. 1,50,000 meter cube. So you can find out VB. So VB is 1,50,000 by 1 plus 0.8. Is it 0.8? Yeah, 0.8 into 1 plus void ratio in the fill. Void ratio in the fill is 1.4. So 1.4. So this is 1.8 and this is 2.4. 1.8 by 2.4, how much? So this is 2.4 and this is 1.8. So 6 3s are 6 4s are, right? So 3 5. So 50,000 into 4. So this is 20,000. See, I'm not in a need of calculator here, So this calculation was simpler. So this kind of questions we generally see in engineering services, Without calculator you can be able to do this. So 20,000, not 20, this is 1,50,000, right? So this must be 2 lakh. So 2 lakh meter cube of volume is required. So yeah, this is the option. Okay, let's see the next question. The value of porosity of soil sample in which the total volume of soil grains is equal to twice the total volume of voids would be. Value of porosity. She's asking porosity, I guess, of soil sample in which total volume of soil grains is equal to. So total volume of soil grains. Grains means solids, you know. Total volume of solids is Vs is equal to twice the total volume of voids. So this is equals to twice the total volume of voids. Fine. Now what he's asking porosity. So what is porosity? N is equals to volume of voids by total volume. It's not void ratio. If it would have been void ratio, in the denominator we would have volume of solids, but here porosity, right? So this is total volume of solids. Okay, this is volume of voids is how much? Okay, let's represent this VV, and this total volume is actually solids volume plus voids volume. So I would write Vs plus Vv, but Vs is 2 times Vv, right? So this is 1 Vv by 3 times Vv volume of void. So this porosity is 1 by 3. So 1 by 3.3333, 33.33%. Yeah, here we have one more question. Embankment fill is to be compacted at a density of 18 kilonewton per meter cube. Embankment fill. See, this is the same kind of question that we have seen. So this is a fill. So this is having unit weight 18. I'm leaving the units as of now because to save the time. So the soil of borrow area is at a density of 15 kilonewton per meter cube. So the borrow pit will be somewhere here. So here while you're excavating the soil, that is having a density of, okay, the density of 15 kilonewton per meter. I think somewhere the question is wrong because he's saying the density, but here it is given kilonewtons. So the density will be in kg per meter cube. Fine. So his intention is right, but his writing is wrong. Somewhere the question is having some wrong. Okay, fine. We'll take it as a unit weight only because it is in kilonewton per meter cube, right? Okay, this is the unit weight of borrow pit. This is unit weight of fill. What is the estimated number of trips? Okay, he's asking this thing. So what is the estimated number of trips of 6 meter cube capacity truck? So you have a truck here. So the soil is filled in this truck, and this truck will carry the soil to this fill area, and then you unload it here, right? So in every trip, it is carrying 6 meter cube of soil. Fine. So he's asking how many times it has to move. So if you find out the volume of this soil in the borrow pit, then you will get to know the number of trips, right? If you divide this volume, total volume by 6, then that many times the truck has to move. Okay, fine. For a hauling capacity, hauling the soil required to compacting 100 meter cube. Okay. Fill of the embankment. So this volume of the fill required is 100 meter cube. So volume of the fill is required is 100 meter cube. Yeah, fine. Okay. Yeah, how do we do? So you know the densities at both the places. See, these are the densities, but this amount of soil that you are carrying from this borrow pit to this fill is same, right? So the weight of soil is same in both the cases, borrow pit and weight in the fill is same. Only the volume will be different. Here it is in loose state and here it is in dense state, right? So how do we find out the volume? So volume, because the weight is same, so I can write only take as single weight W. So volume in the bore pit is how much? Total weight by unit weight of soil in the bore pit, right? And the volume in the fill is total weight by unit weight of soil in the fill, you know. So I want to eliminate the weight because I don't know the weight here. So how can I eliminate? You just divide one equation by the other equation. So this volume of bore pit is by volume of fill is equals to W by gamma W, W by gamma B divided by W by gamma fill. So W gets cancelled. So this will be gamma fill by gamma W. Fine. Yeah. So we know the gamma B. So this is the unit weight in the bore pit and this is the unit weight in the fill. So this is 18 by in the bore pit. So this is not gamma W. This is B. So gamma B is 15. Right? Okay. This is 15. Yeah. So what is this ratio? So fill volume is given to you, which is 100, right? So this is the volume of soil in the fill. So I can find out the volume in the bore pit. So this is equals to VF times 18 by 15, right? This is 100 into 18 by 15. So how much is it? 100 into 18 divided by 15. So this is 120 meter cube. So to make 100 meter cube of fill, you have to excavate 120 meter cube of soil from the bore pit, right? But in one trip you can take only 6 meter cube. So how many trips required? So that is number of trips is equals to total volume of soil in the bore pit by hauling capacity of truck. Hauling capacity of truck, right? So this is 120 by 6. So it's around 20 trips. Yeah. So this is it. Yeah. We did so many questions here. So generally, every year we are seeing one question from this basic parameters, not even the properties, the basic parameters. So far we discussed, right? So these are the questions. You try to solve more questions. Practice more numericals. Yeah, you can send the questions also, like to me. If you don't get answer to any question, then we can have that in discussions. Okay, fine. We'll end up this lecture here.